There we are. Flex. Honest God, DJI Pocket is freaking amazing. If you do YouTube, it's so good. So little kit. I've had it in Japan. Got some amazing stuff. God, I mentioned Japan. Rebecca's going to tell me off.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're being nice today, Rebecca. We got 3 minutes. Yay! Everyone having a good con so far? Yay! 30 years. 30 years. It's hard to think. Well, technically 31 years because we technically skipped one. We had that whole pandemic thing.
we don't talk about that.
I know we don't talk about. Rebecca really does not like talking about pandemic. It's a dark time. It's a dark time. Hi guys. I was like, we got the sweatshops guys in.
I noticed that we went into lockdown the only year we had masquerades and no tech issues.
I know. Yeah. So we need to do a tech issue. Tech issue needs to happen, or 2020 happens already. Yeah. Peach has it. What's up with it?
I'm not saying that.
So it's all Peach-Chan's fault.
Yeah, it's all Peach-Chan's fault. Everything's Peach-Chan's fault.
Know where COVID-25 came from.
Yeah. Right. I think we're about ready. We're sort of ticking down the clock. We're playing the clock out and put the ball in the corner. The opposition is trying to get it. It's a football reference that no one's going to get. I do have 2 football jokes in
Is
this.
it a bit like that last Six Nations song?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have many.
Okay, that's fine.
Standard room.
That I fully understand. You saying that you're capping my room. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me.
That's okay, sorry.
No. Say if you want to cap my. I'll say to the Gophers, please. If for the love of God, health and safety, I'd feel horrible because I'll be happy. If you want to cap my room, please cap my room.
I'll just double check. With,
We have a few seats up the front here. The people, there is a few more seats up the front here. Come and make friends. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, please.
Just
Guys are saying it's your responsibility. Not your responsibility. It's your call. I'm not going to tell you off for doing anything. You're only doing your job.
If you need anything, let me know. It's
I'm normally quite confident. I say that. I'm going to do something stupid. I always do something stupid. But right, let's say. But thank you. And always, Gophers, always amazing. Yeah, everyone give a round of applause. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. They give up their whole weekend, and I mean, us event people, we sort of do this for 2 hours, and then we're going to go to McDonald's, eat 20 chicken McNuggets, and forget about everything. So, honest to God, people, do always remember that these Gophers, they are the backbone of this community. Right, is everyone ready for part 4 of the Lost Media panel? Something that I was not expecting to even get to part 2. Hello, welcome to the Lost Media panel, part 4, Timothy is unbreakable. Because everything has to be a damn JoJo reference, there are 2 more at the front. We thought there would be 1 of these, and there are 4 now.
And 3 of them are Lost Media.
No, I recorded all of them. Unfortunately, my Koreami panel is Lost Media, where Pip came to the front and said, "You just like anime moe blob," when I criticised the Clan movie. And I kind of always wished I had that clip because it was damn hilarious.
That's before you started filming stuff.
I know, before me and Rebecca have been allowed. So I guess some of you are new to Lost Media. So essentially Lost Media is a piece of media that no longer exists or is not publicly available. This can be movies, TVs, books, video games, and even anime. So if it's media, there's probably Lost Media of it. There's of course the Lost Media Wiki that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. And other sites of course like Internet Archive. Just the other day, I didn't put this in, the Powerpuff Girls live action pilot trailer got leaked. It's one of them things, it looks bad, but it looks the kind of bad that it would have been entertainingly bad. Yes. So lots of people go, "Oh, I'm happy this never got made." I'm like,
Is it better than Powerpuff Girls 16?
Yes, it's better than Powerpuff Girl. It's trying to do its own thing, so that we can give it that. So today I'm going to talk about my Moby Dick, or one of my Moby Dicks. I kind of talked. No. That's the 18 plus panel tonight. No, there's no 18 plus panel. Please don't come here for an 18 plus panel. My Moby Dick, of course, the whale that I can't catch. I did kind of talk about my Moby Dick once with the Fort Bayard pilot we showed a few years ago. I remember we had a funny thing about how France countdown looks in France. That was, I remember made a meme about that the year after. Of course, that was the Fort Bayard that also acted as a Crystal Maze pilot, because it was this weird thing that they both essentially ended up being the same show, but two shows were made from the same pilot. And it was kind of the pilot I was always looking for. So today, this is the pilot, or not pilot, I mean, this is a piece of media when I was a child that I guess kind of technically helped shape me. And I have yet ever been able to find this piece of media. So, does anyone remember this little show? I may have heard the theme song.
Yes.
Where does it go?
Is it going?
Where does it stop? What's the sign of the
Lollipop!
Stop! It's the right.
Yes, one of the good ones! Everyone liked the wide bird stop.
Yeah, best one.
So, this started in 1988, so this is literally the year it's born. I think it literally started a few weeks after, it's like October, I was born in August. So my mother had probably great joy putting me in front of this to give her 20 minutes off. Was essentially educational programming, and it ran 5 days a week until 1997, so that's quite long for a TV show. Each day it was a different stop, so essentially it was kind of a different cast. That's how they got away with making so many episodes, because the same cast was not in the same episodes. Monday was the Y-Bird stop, which was a good one. Tuesday's playground stop, which was another good one, and actually kind of where this lost media comes in. Wednesday originally was the dot stop that I remember not being very good, and they think I got rid of it. Thursday was the patch stop, and I remember originally the puppet never talks, and it was creepy, and then eventually one day they just gave her a voice, but they never explained it, so she just all of a sudden starts talking. So that was weird. Friday was the 10th stop, and then eventually came the Poppy. I think that's when Poppy started actually talking. Remember these guys? Unfortunately, none of them have anything to do with this lost media. Does anyone remember this legend? Here him is. Here he is. Here he is with a total jackass. This is called Dave Benson Phillip. He is a bit of a kid TV legend in this part of the world. Get Your Own Back, yes. I actually do mention Get Your Own Back a bit later on. He was known for doing this really cute kids show, only with a puppet, and then he got this show called Get Your Own Back where he'd guns grown-ups, and it was like one of the best shows ever.
I think he presented another game show called Torture before that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
He must have, like, I know he almost got Funhouse.
I think he's almost. It's apparently forgot to Get Your Own Back stuff.
Yeah, no, I think he said that. No, I actually haven't. As I met him, I did talk a bit about Get Your Own Back, and I was like, that was such a good show.
Yeah.
he was really taken back. He thought I was taking the piss at first. So you're taking the piss. And I know, I really, generally, I respect you. Do you have any of the lost episodes of Get Your Own Back? He's like, no. Okay. But I said more. No, there's actually a bit later on. So there was an episode of Playdays where our pal Dave Benson Phillip went to Japan, and I figured out this is probably the first ever time I saw Japan on television. So I'm going to do a little bit about recreating lost media. So this mostly happens in the Doctor Who fandom. Of course, we know we've got 97, at the moment 97 lost episodes of Doctor Who. We do many things to try and put those episodes back in. So we do things, they've done stuff like animations. Some of them are quite good, some of them are not. There was a group of students that recreated an episode, Mission to the Unknown. I haven't seen it, but I heard nothing but amazing things. They built like all the props and everything. It was an episode without the Doctor in it. Well, I think one of the only classic episodes without the Doctor in it. So that's how they kind of got away with like having him there. Of course, all the Doctor Who episodes exist on audio because people would sit there with like cassettes recording every episode. So that's why Doctor Who, unlike other lost shows, even stuff like the Avengers, there are episodes that don't even have the audio for, even though it's fiction. And the most, I guess, popular recreations was from the Telesnap recreation. So the Telesnaps, I've forgotten the guy's name. There was a man, and he created this amazing camera that could take really good photos of TV, and he would take pictures, and he essentially sell them to the actors because back then you couldn't just put a tape on saying this is what I've been in before. So the actors could go somewhere and say, I was in Doctor Who, here is a picture of me on Doctor Who. And they're like, oh, I remember that episode. Or, oh yeah, you have proven that you were on Doctor Who. So that's how like actors potentially got work. There's actually a really sad story. After he died, his widow offered the BBC his entire collection. This was like a whole garage, probably worth of lost BBC stuff. And the BBC, no joke, turned around and said, I think we'd rather look forward than back. And she literally burnt the entire thing after they said that. It's a very sad. It really does, unfortunately. The BBC's crappy attitude, and maybe why they deserve to have some of their media loss. And not making monies from these episodes of Doctor Who that would make them a ton of money. So I decided to try and recreate this episode of Playdays I saw with my old pal Photoshop. So I'm going to present to you Playdays Goes to Japan. So Dave goes to Japan. And I think it was like this. He was like, I think his puppet. Yeah, he lost his hand. His puppet's supposed to go there. I think the puppet was there, and he was like, "Wow, we're in Japan, Dave." And the first half of the episode, they were in a school, very very low res school, and Dave was like, "Oh, cool. This is like people in Japan have school as well." And I mean, they'll teach you Japanese and stuff, and be like, "Oh, this is this is like an educational show." They'll teach you like, "Oh, people in the world are different." And then this is the last part of the episode. He went out with some school kids. Look at the time. There is a massive school children. I unfortunately do not remember the city. They probably went to Tokyo, but I have a feeling it was a more obscure city. But a weird thing is, those parts of the episodes are not what I'm looking for. There is something to do with anime in this episode. The very first scene before the opening played, I have this really big memory of it, was Dave on a plane. And Dave was on a plane with these two boys who you never saw for the rest of the episode. I don't know why. And he was like, "Oh, I'm on a really long plane to Japan. I hope they don't make it longer." Yeah, that's a reference that they've made the plane trip to Japan a lot longer because we can't fly over Russia. He was like to the children, like these two boys that don't appear in the rest of the episode, he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I think one of them's like, "Oh, I'm reading a book." And he's like to the other one, "Oh, what are you doing?" And the other one's like, "Oh, I'm watching some cartoons." And it went to the screen, and I remember this anime being on. And to this day, it's bugged me. I want to know what anime it was. Because I remember just seeing the cartoon, and I'd never seen it. Me and Rebecca talked about it, and we have a theory it was Doraemon. It sounds like, and even to the point, the plane that I went on a few months ago, they had episodes of Doraemon. They even have like the Shin-chan movie on there. So that does sound like something they probably would have shown on the plane. So I literally just want to find this one episode of Playdays, simply because I want to find out what flipping anime they were showing. Because Japan has kind of shaped my life. Here's a few snaps from my last trip. Mostly with anime stuff. And my friend Erica, who I met out there. As I said, it would be nice to find this damn anime just to find out what it is, but we do have a problem. There are 1,000+ episodes of Playdays. Some have ended up on YouTube. Great, excellent. The Fort Park episodes on there. That's the other episode I wanted to find. Great. I got to see the Whitebird go to Fort Park. But Dave's trip to Japan, sadly, is missing media.
Did she go to Noggers League?
Unfortunately, no, she didn't go. They did not go on Noggers League. They go on the carousel. That is now gone. So that's kind of like, at least we went on. Actually, everything in Fort Park back then's freaking gone now. So
Pretty much not what it is now.
yeah, it's a different park. It's a different park.
Very different part.
The pain is the BBC have a flipping archive with everything in it. It's not the iPlayer. For example, oh, it's the iPlayer. There is an archive.
What about BBC Readers?
No, I'm talking about the BBC Archive Search. You have to either be a staff member of the BBC or have permission, like 3 people with written permission to get access to this archive. And apparently there is an Aladdin Cave worth of old television shows in there. As I said, only people who have had, but there has been some leaks. For example, 2 years ago, the entirety of Get Your Own Back was leaked from this archive. That was weird, I just wanted to show you. Another thing that was leaked was the season of Bodger and Badger at Chessington World of Adventures. that mysteriously went missing after it aired, because I think it was just too much of a promotion for Chesterton World of Adventures. As I said, some of these literally were, the recording was just literally, they recorded that has the presenters and everything. So, yeah, the BBC archive is there. I believe there may be some copyright issues. Why this is not public, which really does suck.
Well, especially as we all have to pay the license.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's like we
this archive belongs to us.
yeah. So this is a really annoying thing, and especially, I don't normally like leaks, but when they do stuff like this, I'm just a bit like, I do understand probably some copyright issues. I even understand to the point of like, oh, it's like old recorded off stuff off of television. It'd be great if somehow we could do something to make this more available. This would be something I'd pay for. Like that BritBox didn't really have anything I wanted, like, and that ITVX, nothing I wanted. Something like this, I'd happily probably pay £20 a month just to go through to find it. So we're going to talk a bit about sort of lost media leaks. It's a bit of a two-sided question, I feel. We use the Pokemon leaks as an example. I mean, we got a load of really cool lost media. I'm not going to talk about, I'm actually probably going to talk about it next year with the lost Pokemon stuff. We had so much to fit into this one. But at the same time, literally, there was kind of doxing involved in that, and it does make the lost media community look really bad. And actually, one of the addresses that got doxed was someone I knew, so that kind of sucked for them. Literally, what happened was Pokemon had a big leak, and I mean, lots of things were found that were really cool that we did not know about. The leakers did not leak future games like the new game they just announced. They even said we won't leak anything for that. But as I said, yeah, the people who work for Pokemon got their like addresses leaked, so that really does suck. So it does make the lost media community look bad. So I think that's really a question. It's great when we get lost media, but it's really hard to enjoy it when you know that it kind of came from a dodgy place. But hey, on a lighter note, I found the second ever thing I remember seeing from Japan. This is from an episode of Games Master, and it's totally off the wall.
Japan and Britain, two separate cultures, half a world apart, linked by one thing: anoraks. Here in Japan, they call them otaku. The word refers to any hobby that borders on the obsessive, but this is Games Master after all, so there was one group of otaku I was contractually obliged to meet. Unfortunately, this meant getting up eye-baggingly early.
It's like they've not changed.
It's midday on a Sunday in downtown Tokyo. Most of us would be asleep, but the video game otaku have assembled for a costume party where they dress up as their favourite video games characters. I've decided to get into the spirit, and I've come as everyone's favourite from Street Fighter 2, Fat Sumo Bloke, Eddie Honda. Be a judge on the competition to see who's got the best costume. So I'm going to look for a costume that's very big, very extravagant, somebody's put a lot of time and effort into it. So I'm going to have a little wee wander now. I don't know if you can tell, but this guy's wearing a pair of pants on his head. He's got
What's this man doing?
Excellent. Top one there. Nice one, mate. Sorry. I'm going to go and make sure that she can get in and out of her costume, okay?
It was
Okay,
a different
this
time,
is
people.
my runner-up for the best costume. It's a lovely costume, but I used to have a carpet in this material when I was younger. Very good. Yes, after hours of grueling analysis and some costumes that were obviously from bizarre Japanese games I'd never heard of, I came to my decision and wrapped my rapidly eroding credibility
Different time,
around me
people.
like a shield and took to the stage. Excuse me. Predictably, my newfound Japanese buddies didn't miss the opportunity to take the mick out of my strange foreign ways. Okay.
日本語喋れますか
I speak no Japanese.
どうしようどうしよう
Other prizes were handed out to people who took the whole thing a bit too seriously, but in the end I went for
That
a
is such
simpler,
good even
minimalist
costume.
approach.
Of course he voted for the long.
That's my goal, that's my goal. Long into the afternoon, but I, having met the girl of my dreams, did what any normal man would do. I gave her my holiday washing to clean.
I also like to point out that's probably the first UK appearance of Neon Genesis Evangelion, as you saw that really amazing Eva Unit 1 costume. I somehow put it up to. So I realised, as I said, I started off on a tangent about something that's not anime, but there is actually lost anime out there. Oh no, sorry, no. So I was thinking, is there an anime that is about finding lost anime? And then this anime came to my head. In the alternative version where every character is based on one other character. Anime-gataris is a 2017 anime. This is, oh god, I hate pronouncing, Minoya Azaka? Mioya Azaka. So the main way this show starts is that she remembers this anime from long ago that she saw on television, and is like, I want to find this anime. But she's not really into anime, but she's just like, I want to find this lost anime. So the show is actually more about the anime fandom. I feel like it's a more modern take of something like Genshiken. As I say, the lost media stuff is actually kind of dropped really, really fast. But I kind of wanted to use an example of an anime. I was just like, hey, lost media is kind of that thing, that there's technically an anime about it. Even though they do kind of drop the lost media stuff very quick. There's like no resolve to that plot, we never find it. It's actually a pretty good series. It does go off the wall at the end, probably a little bit too much for my liking. As I said, we do not find out what the lost anime was, unfortunately. It's not a show about like them going to the lost media wiki and making YouTube videos and like going here and like contacting people trying to find it. But I just thought I'd put that in just to say technically there is kind of an anime about lost media. So let's talk about some lost anime. Turns out there are 4 missing episodes of Naruto. For the 20th anniversary, they were like, yeah, you hate Naruto, don't you? So we're going to make 4 new episodes, the original Naruto, because you like that one. It was with the OG characters. Here is a poster. I think the original manga author came on to actually write it and everything. So we even know the plot to it. It was apparently Naruto was going to become the leader of his team for the day. And they apparently even got Flow to do their music for it, which of course they done some of the music for the original Naruto. And it even had an air date, September 3rd, 2023. And we came to August, the day after my birthday, and they just turned around and said, yeah, those new episodes, they're not coming out. And, okay, production must have been tight, I understand, and they have done this before. And after that, everything went quiet. TV Tokyo, every so often, will mention the 20th anniversary, and they'll say, oh yeah, it's coming in 2024. And apparently their last update was, it's coming in early 2025. Don't forget, this is the 20th anniversary, and we're now technically in the 22nd anniversary. So it's already kind of, I think at this point, they're just waiting for the 25th anniversary and put it out with that, which actually kind of would be sensible. So it seems like something very odd has happened with production here. So I'm hoping one day these random episodes of Naruto will come out. Right, on to something else. Say hello to Chibi Maruko-chan. This is my stand-in for Doraemon this year because I'm tired of Doraemon and I wanted to talk about someone else who has a long-running anime with Lost Media. One of the longest-running animes, more than One Piece. I wonder who that's a reference to. Rebecca knows. Rebecca knows that's a dig at. It has actually had 2 animes, a bit like Doraemon. The first one from 1990 to 1992. The second one has been running since 1995. And it actually has been paired with the anime Sezel-san, which is an absolute Goliath in Japan. It has been running since the 60s. So this sort of makes up a TV block for an hour. Like even when I was in Japan, I ended up watching Sezel-san. Just people like watching Sezel-san. It's like the good old days. So I always felt of Chibi Maruko-chan is more the female answer to Shin-chan. She's nowhere near as lewd, a bit older than Shin-chan. But as I was saying, she lives in a multi-generational house, which was more a thing back in the days. It was also what Sezel-san is about, 3 generations living together. But one thing is that Maruko-chan does have better ratings than Shin-chan because she has the benefit of being with Sezel-san. As I said, it even defeated Pokemon in a ratings war once. But Shin-chan does have one thing over Maruko-chan. He has a very popular movie franchise. No joke. Shin-chan has been making a movie every year since 1993. And they are huge. Like, there's even like a Shin-chan shop and it's like all the movie stuff. Like, multiple times in Japan, there is like, and they're just selling all like the movie stuff. So Shin-chan normally is just like this really chill, normal show about a family life. And then the movie's like, Shin-chan has to save the world. Shin-chan does Jurassic Park. Shin-chan goes to India, that's this one. Shin-chan goes to India. It's always like these really big over-the-top stories. Chibi Maruko-chan actually has tried a few times. I believe the first anime had about 2 films, and then a few years ago they made a film called Boy from Italy, which, from my understanding, didn't do well enough to get a sequel. But recently, a few years ago, a new movie was announced, Chibi Maruko-chan and the Fantastic Notebook. It was announced in 2001 and was going to be a CGI take on the classic anime. Of course, as oh god, he did get to show up in this panel. Oh, I was done you, Doraemon. She's not the first to do this. Both Shin-chan and Doraemon have had CGI movies. Both I actually do really strongly recommend these Stand By Me Doraemon films if you want to get into Doraemon. So it was due to oh god, I know that tune. I need to get in there and tell them. It's gonna bug me. They lose by 1 point. They're gonna punch me. So yeah, Chibi Maruko-chan and the Fantastic Notebook was set for 2022, released in China. And even Wikipedia just lists this as coming out in 2022. There's no, it got delayed or anything. It just lists it as this movie came out this year. No trailer. Outside of that one poster, nothing else has ever appeared. So I had some theories what happened. Number 1, movie came out in China, likely only cinema only, and just never made it to DVD or home media. Kind of like the JoJo movie we talked about a few years ago, the Part 1 movie, which is still lost to this day, even though there's a rumour that may come out. I have heard a rumour about that. The other theory I had, number 2, it was actually a 4D movie, so it had to have like a special cinema to truly enjoy it. Like, for example, Universal Studios, they do, when I was there, they did a Jujutsu Kaisen ride. That essentially was an episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, but they would never release it because you need the 4D theatre to. It's actually the 4D theatre Shrek 4D is normally in. And for example, they use some of the props from so you know Shrek 4D, you're like, how do they use some of the props from Shrek 4D? And number 3 was, movie was cancelled or delayed, and Wikipedia got it wrong. Now we know Wikipedia never got anything wrong in its life.
It came out in the cinema, somebody was cancelled.
Yeah. So I did some digging, and it turns out that it was delayed a few weeks before it was, like, one website in China just reported, and just nothing has ever come out about it ever since. Presumably it is in production hell, and we will. It's funny how literally one of the biggest anime in Japan can make a movie, announce it, miss its deadline, and nobody in the Lost Media fandom seems to be talking about it. It's so weird. Right, now we're off to India. There's a load of Lost English dubs to talk about from India because they produce it. Of course, we have talked about the Animax dubs. They're more places like the Philippines, Indonesia. They had a channel called Animax. They actually still have a channel called Animax, but now it's everything's shown subtitled. But they produced English dubs so that they could just lazily. These weren't the same English. Some shows, like they have their own version of Full Metal Alchemist without Bit Mignata, but it's way worse even without Bit Mignata. So anime definitely is bigger in India, and I'm just going to use Nickelodeon as an example. Nickelodeon started over there in 1999 and actually became a full channel in 2004. But a lot of the Nickelodeon shows just weren't hitting, people weren't enjoying them. And I think Nickelodeon India were kind of allowed to do their own thing. So they started to buy the rights to a load of anime from the 80s. This is Ninja Hachi-kun, Papa Man, and Mighty Cat Mask Ninja. These are all anime that have never come out in English, but in India they did produce, they have a separate channel for English on Nickelodeon. So they had to produce English dubs for these shows. For example, the Ninja Hattori ones, actually last time I checked, were mostly available on Netflix. But there is some media that was produced from Nickelodeon India that I do kind of wish was lost.
Attendance! Motu Patlu, present. Gattu Battu,
Present.
Ninja,
Present.
Kenichi,
Present.
आज का टॉपिक है डी से डैब Cool clothes plus attitude plus new hand moves and dab and dab and dab and dab and dab.
This teachers, they let the kids teach you how to be cool. Let's amuse teachers Nickelodeon style without Guruku.
I noticed how they didn't get any of the anime characters to dab. Actually, the fun fact about that Matu Patu, it's so big in India that they just produce episodes non-stop. At this rate, I think it's over 1,000 episodes. It only started in 2013. That was the other thing, the Nickelodeon India were kind of allowed to make their own shows. So it's weird, if you go to Nickelodeon India, there was a lot less Nickelodeon, like what SpongeBob and stuff like that. It's stuff like random anime and shows like that Patu Patu. As I said, I wish that was lost media, but sadly it's not. As I said, Ninja Hattori became extremely popular to the point in 2013 it actually received a new series solely for the Indian market. As I said, there was a second feed. As I said, Hindi is the main language in India. There was a second feed of Nickelodeon and some of the other channels that were showing anime, because Nickelodeon was the only ones who did this. Sadly, these English dubs are really not good. Animax isn't even great, it doesn't have the best, but it normally was students or teachers or people teaching who had a very good understanding of English. I actually did a bit more research from here. I found out for the English dubs, for the Indian versions, they legit got the same cast in who did the Hindi version. And I'm guessing some of them just did not know English, because you can kind of tell it's one of them. This year I found a credits thingy and it's like the same, so it's like they get them to do it twice. So some people's English just aren't the strongest. I got a quick, this happened I thought I'd found something and it literally got lost just as I was looking for it. This is the Chibi Maruko-chan Indian English dub. This is a bit of the opening titles. Here's the caption Jap version of the same song, which is an English translation. As I said, when I was literally hunting for the English dub, it had actually been officially uploaded by the chibi maruko-chan website, YouTube channel, which has another English dub they made way later on. But the channel had totally taken down, the Indian one, so I did not have anything, unfortunately, to show you from this. So literally, as I was looking for it, it went missing. So this time shows you how media can go missing so damn easily. As I said, it just wasn't Nickelodeon picking up animes from the 80s. There were shows like Doraemon was picked up by the Disney Channel, ended up being a big hit. Shin-chan was picked up by Higunia TV. That also been a big hit, but I believe it did briefly get banned for being too lewd. Cartoon Network even launched a new version of the Toonami channel for the first time since the English one shot. It even had its own English dub for Dragon Ball Super, which actually used the Bang Zoom media cast. That is not the Funimation cast. Unfortunately, they only did the first two arcs, so essentially the two arcs that are literally the movie arcs. So other channels like Sony have picked up stuff. But we don't know how many of these shows have English dubs, because some of these channels do not broadcast with a second English channel, so no English dub was produced. Chibi Maruko-chan, as I said, Paperman definitely do have lost English dubs. And we do know that randomly the anime Sashi-chan does have an English dub, because someone uploaded the ending titles with the English cast in it, but it's just using the same version as the Japanese version. So I just quickly show you. Look, there's the English cast. So they had an English cast, so we do not know what they sounded like. And if you look, it's the same cast for the hint.
Wow, 280.
I know. Someone really was. I must say, this is the most British opening ending I've ever heard.
It's like those karaoke types.
Yes, I do know there's another version of this song that isn't that great. This is another anime, they've uploaded it all onto YouTube subtitled. As you can see, both they have the same cast in Hindi and English. So, just before we end our thing on, this is another show that did really well in India, another 80s series, Bactukun, an anime that ran 1989 to 92. This was picked up by Sony Yap. It's so popular, this is now getting a reboot. So they've not made a new episode since 1992, but the Indian market, like, we want more episodes. So they have just started to produce new episodes. I don't think they're quite out yet. Essentially, I've watched a few clips. It seems just to be about some rich kid who has a load of wild adventures. As I said, here's like a poster. As I said, I don't think there was an English version of this, but there's something more wild from this show that got lost, that recently found. A lot of the time in Japan, they don't rebroadcast old anime with its original opening and endings. The last ending title to this show was a bit of a trip. But as I say, it never rebroadcast with this ending titles, probably because of rights, when you probably see who actually sung it. It was actually uploaded last year on YouTube, and a very well-known anime YouTuber actually did it on his Twitter, and this is actually how I found out about it. As it was been lost for so long, I thought it would be appropriate for this. You're not going to guess who they got to do the last ending titles to this show. It's like, who is it? Who is it? He's going to appear in a minute. He actually appears in the ending titles. song is too catchy. I kept listening to it. One, two, and three. You see there's rings in the animation. It's like the same 3 frames of it. He came with like 2-3 frames. Everyone else in the background is just a clone of the main character. And they don't turn when the others turn. I've seen it that many times, I'm like... Also this guy, he only wears half clothes. So like every time he turns around, like, oh yeah, he only wears half the clothes. Yeah, MCM Hammer did a freaking ending title to an anime, and even people like in the comments are saying, like from Japan, going, I had a memory of MC Hammer like doing an anime ending, and I could not find it. And I am so happy you found it, because I thought I had forgotten the whole thing. Of course, this is not the only time MC Hammer has done a opening or a theme song to a cartoon. Also, Ultraman's in that opening, and they never licensed it. It's just always Hammer.
Whenever there's a crime, some crooks are gonna do time. They all better beware, because the Hammerman will be there. Here's how it started a long time ago. The legend of the hammer and how it began to grow. He was given magical shoes from a hip-hop Motown dude. Together they had power. They stood up for what was right. But Gramps was getting old and he couldn't keep up the fight. Right. So Gramps and his granddaughter, they went out on the road to find a man they knew could jam, who was worthy of the load. They met a guy named Stanley who was dancing every night. He helped the kids play every day. His heart was out of sight. So Gramps opened up the bag and took out the magical shoes. He set them on the ground and they soon began to groove. The shoes knew at once they had finally found their man. They hopped right on his feet and he became Hammerman, Hammerman, Hammer, Hammerman, Hammer, Hammerman, Hammer, Hammerman, Hammer, oh yeah!
Oh, by the way, there are 3 episodes of Hammerman that are lost media. But I don't think we want to find them.
Yes, you do.
No, don't. Yeah, actually, a lot of Hammerman was released on video, but yeah, there are 3 episodes at the end that apparently. Right. I know this anime was talked about in another panel last year. I don't think Pip's not in here. No, Pip's not in here. Sorry, Pip, I stole your idea. So this is weird because this anime was missing for a long time, but someone very nicely put it on VHS for us. So let's have a look at it. It is Nikki Naruko Natsuki Shoujo Diana Madagi. Aired once and is an anime about Princess Diana, made in 1986. As I said, was lost for a very long time, but a very kind man from Japan put it on a VHS for us. There is Princess Diana. It takes a look at her younger days in a private academy, and it takes a lot of the trope from what I call masterpiece anime. It's not from what people refer to the world masterpiece theatre. This is, so they normally give them like a cute little animal sidekick. They don't make her a magical girl. I just thought that they didn't go that far. So why the reason they made this? I know. Princess Diana was visiting Japan in 1986, and there was Diana Mania. It was like the original Art Dias. Yeah, this anime is pretty boring. It's just about Diana, and it's like nothing really that entertaining happening until the end. The end, they make some decisions.
Is the ending like what actually happened to her in the end?
No. I'm about to say, to be fair, the event I'm about to show you did not happen in real life. But some of the events that did happen were pretty damn creepy, but she was a lot older when it happened. That's all I'm going to say. So this sort of ends at everyone saying how great Diana is, and I think it's her birthday, and everyone's like, we're literally going to give our money so that you can have a birthday party. And I think even her teacher's like, yeah, I'm giving my paycheck so you're like the most greatest person ever. So this is what, and Diana has a flashback to her previous birthday where she meets a very special guest. So Diana is 8 here, just to let you know, because that's what I'm saying. They're literally saying, oh, our Di can do anything. You're gonna rule the world, our Di. This is when she's 7. And she's like, oh, I miss my mum, but because I think they had divorce in real life. But one of my father's friends decides to come and visit me. And here he comes now. I wonder who it is. My father's a very powerful man. So I'm 7, and who comes in through the door? He's like, oh, my dear friend is here. Who is it? It's our king! And he even says his age! And he's like, oh wow, it's Prince, it's the Prince, it's the future royal, future king of our country. Meet my 7-year-old. And she's like, I'm Diana, and I'm happy to meet you. I'm 7.
Does he have sausage fingers?
No, he didn't quite have sausage fingers yet, Rebecca. Our king, everyone! Yeah! Our king is a pervert! They actually in real life met I think he met her at age 16, so he's still creepy as fuck. I can still say that. So the anime just does make it look way worse. But just the idea, they thought that was cute. Right. Let's talk about another British person who has definitely never done anything questionable in her life, or hasn't done anything that hasn't aged well. This is author Enid Blyton. She wrote a lot of books. And some of them have really not
She
aged
didn't write
well.
any of them well, but she wrote a lot of books.
She wrote a lot of books. But it turned out one of her books was turned into an anime. What could it be? Could it have been the famous 5? Wait, that's not the right famous 5! And why is there 6 of them? If you know, you know. That's still not the right famous 5. It was not the famous 5. But I did find out in France, they did do a manga cover for the famous 5 to get children to read it. So yeah, if you're in France, you can... Yeah, it's way better than the current art they're using on the English versions.
Why
So,
does dog like such a chat?
I don't know.
Because Timmy always was.
Timmy was a chap. Well, Timmy essentially inspired Scooby-Doo. I still believe the famous 5 inspired Scooby-Doo. Kind
There
of.
has to be something.
Yeah, no, I think one of the rumours was originally Hanna-Barbera was going to adapt Famous 5, and they were kind of told that's going to cost you a lot of money. And they went original, because that apparently happened with Doctor Who, and they went, you know what? We don't want to pay the BBC all that money. Somehow they got a Happy Day. Like, you know what? Our Doctor Who cartoon is now a Happy Days cartoon, but with the exact same plot. So now the Fonzie travels around in time. I'm not joking. There's a real cartoon about the Happy Days cartoon is about the Fonz traveling around time, and that is one of the rumors. That's one of the rumors I have heard that apparently, yeah, Scooby-Doo at least at one point production was an adaptation of Famous 5, but I have heard other stories. So. It's not the Secret 7 because the Secret 7 gets no love. It has never been adapted to TV or movie anywhere in the world. While others get not 1 adaptation, not 2 adaptations, not 3, the one I remember, adaptations, a German movie, and a recent version that I really don't think they've actually read a Famous 5 book because it just kind of goes off and does its own thing. Then there's a reboot about their children that nobody likes, to the point that last week they literally rebooted and they made this book to like retcon it out of existence, and a parody that actually gets Famous 5 way better than any of the damn actual official adaptations. Actually, if you want to watch a good version of Famous 5, watch the 5 Go Mad from the comic strips. All 4 absolutely amazing actors and actresses that all went on to have amazing careers. And it's just like most of their first thing. So if you actually enjoy Famous 5, it is very tongue-in-cheek, but my God, it actually gets nearer to the book than a lot of the others.
It really says something about the quality.
Yeah. So what was it that got adapted?
私たちタイガー家の双子私パッパ私イザベルでもどうしてなの最低最悪よ信じられないお父さんもお母さんもちっとも分かってないわ全然分かってないわよ私たちがよりにもよってクレア学院なんかに留
This
学
song
し
is
なくて
dope,
は
by the
な
way.
い
The opening titles. I tried finding it.
だっていいうちの子じゃなくても生徒はみんな破れた服を何度も作ろうってしてるって噂よ勉強だってクレア学院の子だって
So this is The Twins of St. Clair, a 1991 anime based on a series of books by Enid Blyton from 1941. As I said, another masterpiece anime, but not from World Masterpiece Theatre. It aired in a lot of countries. It aired in France, Germany, Latin America, but to my understanding, it never aired in England, because apparently there's some information going around it apparently aired on ITV and Channel 5, but I do not remember it being there. So if anyone in this room remembers it being on English TV, this is the lot, this is kind of the audience that would have seen it. No one remembers it. So
it's weird seeing anime schoolgirls in British schools.
Yeah, which is weird because there are videos for an English dub on the internet.
St. Clair's a very exclusive school for girls.
Sorry, this is like the only version I could get
Really
because they keep trying to like take this down on YouTube.
The beginning of the trouble for this precocious pair.
Are you ready? Yes. Let's go!
I mean, the enthusiasm.
Daddy, let's talk with you now.
Yes, what is it, Isabel? Pat?
We absolutely do not want to go to St. Clair's. Positively no.
Oh, is that it?
Daddy, we're serious. Everyone says St. Clair's is simply an awful school. Ugly and uncomfortable,
That's the
and
worst
it's a
attempt at
school where
marketing I've
anyone
ever
can
heard.
go. The dormitories aren't nearly as nicely furnished as the maid's bedroom.
God, it does sound like Enid Blyton characters. They're rich and they just moan about everything.
Let's go to a nicer and more exclusive school, just like
Just
Ring.
like writing rich characters.
Only girls of rich parents, very well bred, go there. We can have our own bedrooms
Like
and our
everyone
own
thinks Spike
study.
was poor, he was a villain.
And wear an evening dress at night. Most of our friends go to Ringmere.
But it's off to St. Clair's, where the twins try to make the most of it, whether they like it or not.
Once we get on that train, we'll be St. Clair girls too.
Even the classical
I can't
music.
stand it. Look at this ugly uniform. Ah, look at this lacrosse stick. They might at least play hockey as well. Horrid. Horrid is right, and you know. Yeah, we're one of them now.
If they're trying to do an RP accent, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
The girls want to be noticed by the other students and try every mischievous trick imaginable to get the attention they think they deserve.
Let's not forget our promise. Yes, and let's show them who we are and what we can do. So everyone will notice us. And as I said previously, we will show the St. Clair School the O'Sullivan twins are going to be somebody. Yes, we'll make them sit up and take notice of us.
So as I said, the 90s were full of TV adaptations of Enid Blyton work. Of course, we have the Noddy series, which was very popular. I remember queuing up to meet Noddy once, and he didn't show up. That's I have some childhood trauma about that. Of course, as I mentioned this before, this was Sunday evenings for me. I watched it back now. It is not aged well. Watch Fight Go Mad because it's actually a better adaptation. This is kind of Enid Blyton work wasn't that bad. It's not just about the rich and the poor being the villains. Literally, the problem with this version is every book is like 20 minutes and they have to introduce the villain really quick, and it's like they cut so much. But I'm still nostalgic for it, so that's why I put it here.
Why do they need to introduce the villain? It's Enid Blyton.
Oh god, yeah, it's the poor person.
It's a foreigner.
Is that what her books were like? It's the poor person or the foreigner.
That's something like Daily Mail.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe, hey, they just didn't want a foreign adaptation. Maybe in the spirit of Enid Blyton, they didn't want a foreign adaptation of their beloved English work. But that's weird, because there was an adaptation of the Adventure series from New Zealand that actually did air over here. And this was the version where they actually took time on the plot, and not everybody, the villain wasn't poor and stuff. The Adventure series is kind of probably the third child of the Enid Blyton series, the second one being Secret Seven, that always gets forgotten about. The Adventure series has actually had 2 adaptations. So we can just rub that in a bit more, Secret Seven, that the Adventure series has even had 2 adaptations.
I grew up on the Secret Seven.
Yeah, they're good. I actually like Secret Seven. It's actually
I think
good.
the Find Alpha are lower on the list than Secret Seven.
Yeah.
They've not been
Five,
that's
yeah. Five. They need to make both adaptations as Secret Seven. No, Secret Seven, Five.
What they need to do in any adaptation is give them personalities.
Yeah.
Because if you
No,
read a page where they
I'm about to say.
hide the names, they all sound
Yeah. It's one of those things. An adaptation, even of Famous Five, a better adaptation of Famous Five would actually be quite interesting. You could keep spirit of there's stuff you're going to have to fucking take out. But I already look at those characters. I'm like, you can build those four. You can build really interesting characters out of those 5 characters. You're going to have to do some work, but and it's definitely not the current version. They tried. There was even this weird American adaptation of Noddy that even got an airing over here and was lost media for. So what they kind of did here was Noddy, I think, was only about 7-minute episodes. They did this with Thomas. They made like a whole show around it, and they got Ringo Starr back in to be one of the characters. That's actually what the Thomas movie is based upon. So all the English were like, who the heck are these characters? Because we never got that series. But they actually did show the Noddy version over here. I think it was called the Noddy Shop. So it was just like they had wrap rounds and they'd show Noddy in between. But that's the weird thing, they actually showed the Noddy version, but they never showed the Thomas version over here.
Because we had the better show.
Yeah, we had the better show. So there was I think it was just filler once, and it was lost media for a long time. It was only recently found. And I think one of the episodes was actually found because it was broadcast on 9/11, and people just have recordings from 9/11, and it was just one of the shows that happened to be on before it. So that's a bit dark how we found one of the episodes. So yeah, maybe the UK just did not know that this anime existed. Actually, clips of it exist in a Jonathan Ross documentary. Jonathan Ross did a documentary for about 92, 93 about anime. It was for the UK premiere of Akira on television, and clips of this anime actually does appear. So they knew it existed. It's like a slam dunk. The show is literally looks like it was already dubbed. I presume it probably was released somewhere like in the Philippines or maybe Australia. Stuff like this does happen. So the BBC was sitting on this adaptation of a lovely Enid Blyton thing. Okay, an Enid Blyton property, and they didn't adapt it when the 90s were full of them bringing
Because they didn't make it, that's why.
Right. But as I say, there was 2 other versions they didn't make and they brought over, so it just seems a bit weird. I guess they just didn't want to bring an anime over. But the weird thing, it aired in France, it aired in Germany, and it did really well in those countries. So it is that bit weird. This is weird. So this lost piece of lost media totally happened within the last year. So since I was last here talking with you, this project happened and got lost in that entire time. Do you want to hear the story about the Your Lie in April West End show? Yeah! Matt Pat's in it. Yeah!
It's the biggest YouTuber of all time.
Yeah. So this is the Your Lie in April West End stage show. It was originally based on a stage show from Japan that's also been adapted in Korea. This is the cast. I love you notice both the boys have 2 actors, while both the girls have 1. So it's based on a 2011 manga, a 2014 anime, which is very good. Later a live action movie that isn't that good. This was the first non-Studio Ghibli movie to receive a West End show. 3rd if we count the Studio Ghibli ones. So what happened, the media team actually got in contact with me before this, as I do YouTube and media and stuff. They actually invited me to do the press night. So there I am, like nice little. So I got to go to the preview. I went to the preview. I actually had bought tickets to preview. So there I am on preview night, and I'm literally sitting in some of the best seats in the house. Around me is the flick, everyone is like major like West End press, and I think they've just gone like, shit, we need to invite an anime channel. Which one looks keen? Next one, oh, this one. And it was like just so surreal that I was just in like with all these West End people, and I was like, how the fuck did I achieve this? Like, I don't think they've seen my work. I just kind of show up to conventions and film. Good. But this is, things kind of got wild from here. Did anyone recognise this man? He's MatPat. Of course, he's one of the most well-known YouTubers of all time. Of course, he did Game Theory. I think he's retired now. I don't watch Game Theory. MatPat was actually added as the co-producer one day before the preview. Sadly, there was no anime in the UK MatPat crossover, because when I went to the preview, I went to the press night, MatPat was not in the house. So I didn't get to meet, there's no like hilarious picture of me and MatPat doing the pose together. But I will say the staff and the cast were really lovely. The media guys were really lovely. They were really well welcoming. As I say, it kind of helped me grow. As I said, I got a nice new camera. It was like one of the things I was like, I need to improve on my own content. I went out and actually purchased a new camera. And this is actually the second camera I purchased since then. So it was kind of was the moment where I was like, okay, I got to start taking this seriously. So what happened? So I said I went to see the preview, and the preview was actually different from the actual show. There was actually a full song cut, and essentially Rugoya's, his best friend's subplot, is actually cut from the musical. But the weird thing is, all the promotional pictures still had the photo from that number. So people were confused, like, why is this scene that's not in the actual musical here? I will admit, even though this is stuff that's in the anime and manga, it does make, as a show, it does make it flow better. And especially the last scene, it's better where they left it off in the version they actually put out. So, all was going well. They even announced a lovely soundtrack, because there was this one absolutely amazing song that I so badly wanted. But I went to go and see it a third time with my sister. Okay, this is one of the worst things I've ever done. I took my sister to go see Your Lie in April, and I didn't tell her anything about what Your Lie in April is about. It's one of those, if you know, you know, and she's enjoying it. And she's like, at half time, she's like, oh, that's a really fun and inspiring music. And I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, you don't know what's going to happen in the second half. Sister, you're going to be a lot sadder. And it was just this moment where I just thought, I looked over and she pulls out the hanky, and just one tear's coming down her eye. And I'm like, you're a terrible big boy. And it's another hanky. And it's just like, oh God, what's happening? Literally a week after I took her to see it, sad news, the show was abruptly cancelled. They only ran for one extra week, which was really sad, because a lot of people worked really hard on it. I'm just saying, especially as a project I guess I was kind of attached to, it was really sad to see. And sadly that meant the English soundtrack, which was really good, is now lost to time. But in that third showing, I really, really badly wanted a copy of that one song. And I may have brought my phone in, and I may have pressed record while that song was here. Sorry, it's not the best quality. This is from my own private. This is the song before. I've lasted forever since it's played. How fast do you think you'll be afraid? I'm master of a tree. I'm loving. Oh, you think I'm the best, and we are gonna face it. Come to celebrate our king. This is the song I wanted. sadly, that means the rest of the English soundtrack is lost to time. I feel a bit bad because I was like, I could have recorded the whole show and we would have had a copy. So one day, you never know, some of those clips may end up somewhere, maybe an internet archive somewhere. But yeah, it was kind of sad. It was a sad thing. But don't worry, there is hope. There is a Sailor Moon musical right now on the West End. Not West End. We're not technically on the West End, but it's in London. Has anyone gone and seen it yet?
Yes.
It's very good. Very good. I
So
say
good.
our videos on it are doing amazing. I'm so happy for them. Also, by the way, I think there's a buy one get one free right now on tickets. So if you're not seeing until tomorrow, I think there's a code. Go to their Twitter. It's on their Twitter. I'm not sure if I'm meant to say the code out loud, but it's on there. So if you book from tomorrow until the 19th of March, please do go. This show deserves to be supported. It's a really good show. Right, I guess we're back to this year's Lost Media. There was so much content that I had to cut. I was going to do a look at the old UK doujin scene, but I just want to do a little bit more research and put a little bit more time in to that. There's some really interesting stuff, so hopefully they let me come back next year. I'll be talking about that. And there was actually a tribute I wanted to put in there, and I wanted to actually do a really good job with the tribute. So we actually found some minamicon Lost Media the other day. So remember last time, my hunt, we actually found out who one of the people was. They actually still come to the con, so I'm sorry I feel embarrassing them. I'm going to admit it, things were a little bit slow. I did get from a fan a message that someone had found a minamicon 8.
I have that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to have this. The minamicon 8 con book on eBay, and I managed to secure it. So, unfortunately, there isn't a timetable in it, because that was the thing. I wanted to kind of compare old minamicon timetable and new. But let's look at some of the really lovely art. So this is what I'm looking forward to next year when I'm going to talk about the UK fantasy scene. There is some really lovely things. This is the content. I realise that's really small. But there's like manga in there, fan art of the minamicon fairy, Oscar in the trash can where she belongs. I just saying, some really lovely art. So it's sad that this art was lost to time until now. I'm putting it out here for you. So it was a bit slow, and that's why I was looking to do the UK doujin scene. And there was a few other things, but that will be next year now. Sadly, there is no timetable, as I said, because I wanted to compare the timetable. So I decided to do the next best thing. As I've taken minamicon timetable for Saturday this year. Look how big that is. And I'm comparing it to the only other UK anime-con running at the same time. They will remain nameless. I'm just taking out like the game room. Yeah. Here are the size comparisons. You get better value here, that's the joke. Sadly, it had looked like my Lost Media minamicon panel. My minamicon had gone a bit cold. I was a bit sad because I was like, it's the anniversary. I wanted to find something really cool. I actually had found something really cool, but I had technically lost it, but it is in my garage somewhere. So hopefully next year I'll be able to show that off. Then out of nowhere, a miracle happens, because I was always like, there's no way we're finding freaking video of minamicon before the year 2000. Like, it just doesn't exist. It's just, this is media that, and it's kind of like that. There is just what I call media we know doesn't exist. Like, there's an episode of Doctor Who called Feast of Stevens that every single copy was destroyed because it was only broadcast once on the BBC as a Christmas special and was thrown away straight away. So we already accepted we're never finding Feast of Stevens. I thought early minamicon video was kind of like probably any tape with it on had long been thrown away. About a week ago, I got a message. Someone has actually started uploading their very old minamicon archive, Ancients of Ooh, and we can see there are some videos. Do you want to watch 90s minamicon masquerade videos? Yeah. Is that what everyone's here for? Please check this channel out. Now let's look at some old cosplays. I'm sorry if anyone controversial shows up. I tried my best. I think I managed to edit out the one controversial person. So this is minamicon 4. Slayers was very popular back then. You know,
The Slayers.
you younger. So this is not the full version. Their full version is on YouTube. If you'd like to track it down.
That makes impressive pronunciation.
That is really impressive. That was actually really impressive.
I could see a cigarette by the look of it.
It's the original Keith. Keith evolved. OG. So a lot of Slayers. See what skits were like. Turn this on.
Don't you know? I'm the greatest living sorceress, Naga the Serpent.
There's something I love about these earlier minamicon skits. Someone just trips over.
No, that was deliberate. It's Amelia.
For those of you not intimately connected with the Slayers universe, you may not be aware that Naga the Serpent's real name is actually Gracia Will Tesla, and that she's my sister. Obviously, Nag, I didn't know.
As you say, that what skits used to look like. I would say this cosplay was very impressive.
With us, one of those esteemed troopers, the AD police troopers, hunting down those troopers to protect us. So please welcome our AD police trooper. Okay, that's all. I'll ask our contestants to please enter again.
Back in the day, you could fit the entire masquerade on one stage. Also, I'd like to point out they actually had a stage back then. Bring back the stage. Bring back the stage.
In the back area.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That's the same. We use that as the dealer's room now.
Yeah.
So you're not in the masquerade. You could not be here. That's the full show. That is like, I have literally shown clips from the entire show. Let's go to the next year, 99. It's funny to see early Pokemon cosplay and they're singing the Japanese theme song. This is really amazing stuff considering people would have to pretty much handmade that. So we're now on year 2000.
So yeah, finally joined Team Rocket, what can I say? I'm so happy they said, why don't you bring that Takeshi guy along with you? He runs the rock gym.
Fortunately, some of the audio had to be taken out because of the copyright, I believe. They're showing you like more and more people are showing up to do cosplay. It's just showing how it's evolving. More people are taking part. You've gone from about 5, as I said, the first one with 3 people. You're saying it's slowly evolving. I think you're about to see an appearance of someone you may recognise actually in a second. He's about to make his way onto stage. Where is he? He definitely is in this. Here he is. It's Lord Ashram! The very young Lord Ashram. I'm so sad I have not found a clip of Lord Ashram breaking the floor. There's a Shinji cosplayer. Just like, it was a different time, people. It was a different time. People enjoyed Blyton's work. That was. Yeah, again, that's the whole masquerade. You can still just about fit the whole masquerade.
Whilst the judges make their decision, we'll show a few music videos.
I saw that actually. Yeah, they were going to show music videos.
Please.
So yeah, this is really interesting to see. I just thought we'd never find this media. Like, I thought all that ever would exist was photos. So finding it like that was so cool. Right, so we don't only have footage of the masquerade. We do have a bit of non-masquerade footage. First, we start off at minamicon 4. I believe this must be the fans' room. Just people have this, like some of their figures on display, and here are some of the art from the artists. So it shows you how creative people were even back then. This is before the internet. You know, people would have like painted these and drawn these. Like, you wouldn't have had Photoshop and stuff like that. And this is back in the days. You would, to register for this con, you would have to send off a check, or even potentially show up on the day. You could, I think. There were a few minamicons you could just show up and just buy a ticket on the door. It was that. So I believe this is the second minamicon at this venue here. We have been at this venue. Well, they have been at this venue, not me myself. I wasn't there in '98. I was 10. It's just a nice look around the arts. Fortunately, we didn't get anything of the dealer's room, because we did get photos last time, but like just stuff like that. So, well, that may actually be production art, so I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, no, just finding this was absolute. Like, I was just sitting there, going, my mouth. I was at work and my mouth was open, going, I thought I thought this media just didn't exist. No one filmed it, and the fact that someone went out and filmed this is just amazing. I know it's so like small and I think it's the fact that we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and I think sometimes people forget where we originally came from, and you know, those people who they're probably not around anymore, but you know, they did this to. And here we are, this is what the dance room looked like in 1998. No big machine yet, but my god, they're still having a good time. Oh my god, they got like the old, when you're in class and it's time to watch a tape. I miss them, I wish they'd bring them back. There's more people playing Dance Dance Revolution. I think I've got a little clip from karaoke after this. And they're playing the Eurosai Access song. A song that is still played, and I think someone's pushing their dojin. So, as I said, last year I started my hunt, and it was weird. There was a lot of minamicon that was not on the internet. Pretty much, I think minamicon 4 was the earliest thing we had any photo for on the public internet. And the earliest show we had video for was minamicon 12. But now, after the hunt, minamicon 1 photo and a full masquerade photo is found. Sadly, minamicon 2 is sadly lost. minamicon 3, we had a review for it that I read out very badly, but sadly no photos or videos. minamicon 4 to 6, we have the videos and photos. minamicon 7 is the weird one at the moment. I'm hoping that there is more videos uploaded on Chris's channel. Is lost media. But minamicon 8 onwards, we've currently got photos. This is where Many Lemons starts his archive of it, and of course we've got Dee's archive, video archive. So we're very lucky to have this much, and have this much media from minamicon. So right now we're only technically missing anything from minamicon 2, minamicon 3, and minamicon 7. I think it was I was expecting not to find anything from like the first 5 or 6, so I'm absolutely flabbergasted. We freaking found video from minamicon 4. I know it's really geeky, but everything. But I think this kind of brings everything full circle. Do you remember my first Lost Media panel? And I talked about how I got into the Lost Media community. It was all due to a Shin-chan dub that aired on Fox Kids. And it only ever aired in England, Australia, and on the island. And at the time I had a friend, and she moved here a lot later on, and we were talking about old Shin-chan, and she was like, oh, I remember like Shin-chan, and she's seen some of the Adult Swim dub, and I went, there used to be this really wholesome, more wholesome Shin-chan dub. I got it, got P-chan's giving me the sign time, he's trying to sub me off. And I found it, and I actually showed it to her with Enid, and over the years, we lost contact, happens with friends sometimes. You never guess what, last year, I was walking around the Matsuri, and guess who I ran into? I ran into her. She was actually here, and she's actually at the con, she's next door. She didn't come to this panel. So yeah, everything kind of went full circle, and we had a nice chat and caught up on old times. And it's just nice to think, sometimes one conversation can lead you down a path where you're really excited because you found minamicon 4 video. So yeah, and I think that what just makes this con just so great. People have been doing this for 30 years, and I hope there are many, many more years to come.